Coming up next, we've got two amazing people. We've got John Horton, who's the Vice President of Global Supply Chain and Ops at Win Brands Group. Does anybody here know Win Brands? They own Homesick Candles, Kalo Rings, Gravity Blankets. And then we also have Marius Laza, who's the Chief Customer Officer at Tidio, which, if you recognize it, it's right here. They sponsor the stage. So please welcome them to the stage. Okay. All right, guys, welcome to the stage. In a brief 30 seconds. Also, guys, if you're standing in the back, there's a bunch of open seats now. You can come fill these seats. We don't bite, don't be shy. All right, if you were to explain, if your teachers were to explain who you are, how would they describe you and what you do?
You start.
Yes, hey everyone, my name is Marius. I'm the Chief Customer Officer at Tidio, so I work with everything that's customer facing, right? Customer support team, customer success team, services team. So I can speak from the perspective of someone deep into customer support, and also we are the provider because at Tidio we build a platform for customer service with ticketing, live chat, chatbots, and more recently added AI to it. So I both influence the roadmap and also feel the pain when things don't happen. So I can talk more about the kind of the full scope of AI in customer support.
Amazing. And John?
Yeah, I've been working in the consumer industry for about 20 years, really focused on strategy, supply chain, and operations. Been at Win for the last 2 years, kind of leading their global supply chain and operations, which has been super exciting, just given that it's a large portfolio brand. So consider myself really a daily firefighter, tackling those problems across the supply chain against a bunch of different brands.
Amazing. And John, could you give us a quick overview of Win Brands? What is Win Brands?
Yeah, we're a modern day holding company. We're buying and building brands. So we start by acquiring exceptional customer focused brands. We plug them into our shared services operating model. So companies that join Win, they benefit from a lot of things, but things like pooled operational resources, access to best-in-class partners and systems, shared operational cost, economies of scale, all sorts of things like that.
Amazing. John, question. So when did you start using AI at Win?
Yeah, I'd say over the last 12 months, we've really seen kind of things start to ramp up. Now, I'd say on a daily or weekly basis, we're using AI across most, if not all, departments. So we're doing things on the marketing side with photography, copywriting, on the website with website management, pricing and promotions, kind of real-time management, demand planning, customer service. So lots of different areas we're tapping into.
And for Tidio, what were your expectations with AI chatbots?
Yeah, I mean, for us kind of going into it, we were hoping just out of the gate to really kind of free up time for our agents. So how can we take some of the day-to-day, repetitive, kind of ongoing tasks and questions that come in and have those answered instantaneously, real-time, 24/7 by AI. So kind of take those off the plate, which would then allow us to free up the agents to focus on bigger and better things, kind of going deeper with customers, answering in more depth some of the more complex questions, things like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we hear most from our customers. They want to kind of transition into AI. There is a subset of users that go straight to full AI customer support. I feel like that's smaller businesses that never had the resources to do human support, and they just switched AI on, and now they can offer customer support. They're not constrained by resources anymore, right? But most people are in the same situation as John. We did the same thing. We kind of add AI on top of our stack, and then you get all of the enhancements, right? We did that last year, like 12 months ago, and for us, we have 300,000 200,000 businesses that use Tidio, and last year we could only offer support to those people, and even that is pretty impressive. 20 support people working with 300,000 businesses. When we added AI on top of it, we expanded that to our visitors on our website, to non-users as well. So now AI handles most of the volume that comes from our website, and the support team works with our clients that are already signed up.
Amazing. And I'd imagine like majority of the customer service tickets are probably like, where's my order? Or, you know, when's it arriving? Is that what just immediately gets answered by AI?
Yeah, it's definitely like an 80-20 rule with that. So 80% are those kind of same core common questions that are just repeatable time after time. They're easy to answer, but they do still take time. So yeah, the AI can easily take those and more, but it's really great to kind of get those off the plate, let the agents kind of free them up to do you know, the more complex tickets, or like I like to say with my team, to focus on really giving customers, you know, a great kind of legendary experience. So how can you go really deep with somebody to make that mark that they remember, but use the AI to kind of, you know, hit them with the initial first real-time instant touch.
Totally. And I'm curious from a setup standpoint. So every time I use ChatGPT, you know, you gotta train the model, or you gotta upload a bunch of documentation or whatnot, so it learns. What does the setup look like for this to get a chatbot working that speaks on brand, you know, doesn't curse at your customer, does all the things the right way?
Yeah, I'll start off on kind of getting it set up, and then Maris, maybe you want to go kind of how you can take it to the next level after that. But for us, getting set up was very easy, which we needed because we had to get this set up on 9 different websites. So a couple of clicks, we were kind of set up within the system. From there, a few more clicks, we were able to connect to some of our key partners, Shopify, Meta, G Suite, et cetera. And from there, the AI actually does most of the work itself. So it goes through, it's scanning our site, it's pulling out all the relevant information that it needs. It reviewed our past customer service tickets to understand some of the answers to frequently asked questions. From there, we were able to put all that into a playground to kind of test the model a little bit, make sure all the answers were exactly like we wanted them to be before we went live. One thing you realize is that, you know, it's looking at everything on your site, so it kind of almost put the onus back on us to make sure that our pages were accurate and up to date. Found a couple of examples that were on us of like an unpublished page that had some old shipping information, things like that. So good to play around with it, test it out, but really, you know, the AI scanned everything for us. It came up with nice, succinct responses, and then we could just make sure that those kind of met what our expectations were.
Yeah, it's not unlike training a support agent, right? You have the information. Most of the time it's public, it's your website. Sometimes you have internal information that works as well. But even with your URL today, you can just drop it into Lyro or AI. It will train the model, and within a minute you have something that can take you up to maybe 50% resolution rate. We actually do a demo in the lounge today. If anyone wants to check it out, you can just type your URL in and see how it goes. I think 50% resolution rate is still low. You can get up to 70, 80% on our project. We're at 85%, but that takes weeks as opposed to minutes. But first off, it's that URL, type it in, and now you have the model trained on your most repetitive questions. But as John said, content is king again, and it's key to have the proper content. You need to manage your updates. When you have an update on your business, you need to make sure that you're always up to date. So then support agents kind of become these mini content supervisors. They need to double check and make sure that your information is up to date, and that's where the model learns. And as John said, it also learns from support conversations, so it really gets better, and it has like pretty consistent improvements.
What was the website you said where people could enter? What could they enter?
So if you can join us in the lounge, we have a playground.
Upstairs?
Yep, and on the Tidio lounge upstairs, you have a playground. You can type in your URL. Within a minute, we're gonna have probably close to 50% resolution rate, so we can train the model on it. But you were talking about the safeguards, right? Making sure it doesn't kind of go off the provided plan. And we all use ChatGPT, I'm guessing, right? And sometimes you see it give inaccurate answers or kind of going beyond what you asked. And that's kind of the beauty of AI for businesses. We have teams that put those safeguards in place. And what we actually do is we don't give an answer if we're not extremely confident in it, right? So, and that's the difference, I think, between ChatGPT and what we do, right? And whenever the answer is not certain, it escalates to a human. So that's how you get this 50% resolution rate, because in the other 50% of cases, it won't give a bad answer, it would escalate to a human. So I still think that the customer experience is quite good. The customer doesn't know what's happening behind the scenes, they just get transferred to a human because we didn't have confidence in the answer. Then you train the model even further and you can get to 80%, so then 80% of those questions get answered on the spot.
Very cool. So I feel like we went from full-time employees here to part-time moms to the Philippines and now to AI. What is the future of customer support?
Yeah, I think Lyro is the last support agent you will have to hire. We had 20 support agents last year. We still have the same 20 support agents today, but the volume has tripled basically, and Lyro is kind of that super agent that comes in and takes care of a huge portion of your volume. It gets better. And then to me, the support teams are kind of evolving into customer success teams, and they are closer to making an impact on your business. They can have more meaningful conversations with your visitors, understand who they're communicating with. And I haven't met a support team that's not frustrated with like answering the same question over and over again, right? They don't want to do that. So that's what happened to us as well. Like support became like tier 2, and now they're also helping us generate revenue, not just answering those repetitive questions.
Got it. John, when we, our company launched Feastables, chocolate brand with Mr. Beast, and when we initially launched, we had 18 or 20 support agents, but we also used AI, and we could cut that down to 2 or 3 to handle the same volume. Do you see the same thing with Win Brands, or how do you see the future of your department of customer experience, customer support?
Yeah, for us, it's been less about trying to use it as a headcount reduction, more about how can we improve the customer experience. So we're thinking about that 2 ways. So one is, using the AI to have that 24/7, kind of instant response. So not waiting, maybe our typical 2 or 3 hours, or if it's off times when our agents are not working, maybe till the next day. Now, 50, 60, 70% of those questions get answered right out of the gate. And then the second piece would be, more for the agents themselves. Now they're freeing up time. And like I said, I love for them to use that time in ways just to go above and beyond. I read a book a year or 2 ago called Unreasonable Hospitality. Highly recommend it for anyone that's looking for a good book. It's written by the general manager of one of the nicest restaurants in New York City, 11 Madison. And it talks about how you can just win these customers for life with, these kind of small, they don't have to be very expensive, but kind of over-the-top experiences that are really personalized to them. So I think about it as AI kind of handling the simple, quick resolution, and then the agents focus more on, the complex things, or just making someone's day when, they can see from the email that came in that, they went through a tough experience or they hit a milestone in their life. Like, what can we do for them to go above and beyond?
Yeah, that was actually one of my next questions for you was, I think one of the most special things about customer experience or customer support is being able to make somebody's day and kind of go out of the way or pull something out of the hat that would otherwise not be normal. Is that something that you see integrating with AI, or is that something that you see AI being able to offer in the future?
Yeah, I think personalities, we're working on that already. We're talking about product recommendations, which is already live. So I think the AI will become more of a sales agent as well. Currently, we have kind of AI as support agents, and then the support team is kind of going into that success space. But yes, in the future with personalities, I think it's very easy. We have examples even with Kalo, right? Looking at product recommendations, you don't probably don't have a support agent that knows your entire product catalog inside out, right? The AI knows that. When you get a question, it can easily recommend the product. And we were even doing experiments with recommending just one product and not five. Five is too many, one is too little, maybe you should recommend two, right? So the AI is kind of getting a personality. It's looking at ways in which it can recommend the right product at the right time, even understanding if this is like a positive conversation that it has with the visitor or a negative one, to know not to recommend products in that case. So I think it is getting stronger. And to me, the most exciting part is actually that part. We have the support part, which is kind of a solved problem in AI, in my opinion. But this sales aspect, I think it's quite cool, because that is where it can be really powerful, right? And make the most of the interactions that it has with visitors and really like shine, because it has some general intelligence that's coming from the models, from Anthropic, from GPT.
Got it. I'm curious, how do you judge AI? Like, you have metrics to judge support agents, physical humans. How do you do that for AI?
Yeah, so we're looking at a lot of the same metrics that we would have in the past, but maybe with a few slight tweaks in there. So, and obviously hoping we're seeing improvements in the metrics that we were already looking at. So we're trying to see now how many resolutions does AI get to versus when it can't, and it's actually sending those over to a human. So that's something new. I'd say in general, kind of whether it's with CX or any of the other things that we've done. For me, one of the interesting parts of just implementing AI is kind of the change management internally that's required to get there. No one feels 100% comfortable out of the gate with kind of not knowing what's going on behind the scenes. So, whether it was CX or demand planning, the team that's doing it internally at Win is kind of closely monitoring it for the first couple of months out of the gate. Just kind of like, hey, we're going to run our demand plan here. We're going to have the AI demand plan. We're going to compare the two, see who was better. And I feel like that's just kind of the natural reaction. So, with CX, out of the gate, you're monitoring more of the responses. You're making sure that they're on brand, that they're correct. And then over time, you start to feel more comfortable that, it's doing, what it's supposed to be doing. And, you can kind of leave that be.
Anything you'd add there in terms of judging performance of the AI?
Yeah, I like the instant response time. I think that's cool. We were tracking that before, and now it doesn't make sense to track it anymore. We know it's instant all the time. I think that's the most important one. Other than that, it's similar metrics, I feel like. Resolution rate is a bit different, but still kind of similar to what you had before with escalations from support agents. So still, satisfaction rating is important. I think some of the core support metrics will stay the same. But we are kind of looking at ways to maybe track this even better. The biggest thing is this transparency, right? You want to know what's happening, but you want to automate everything, which is what we hear a lot, and it's kind of hard to achieve. Actually, the biggest request that we get is, can we get to 100% resolution rate with AI, which currently is not possible, but I think it will be in the future. And then people want 100% resolution rate, but they want the visibility as well, right? So you need to see, okay, what is AI talking about with my visitors, so I can make my product better, right? I think we're on our way to kind of getting there. But it's going to be a kind of a road, right? We know that people are still have the poor experience of the past with working with like those traditional if this then that chatbots. We know we're all like guilty of typing, can I talk to a human now? And we hope that in the future people will do the opposite. They're going to be like, can I talk to the AI again? Because I don't want to talk to a human right now. So I think we're going to get there.
I'm curious, is there any response time that's too fast to where people are like, yo, chill, is this fake?
We do have the Leroy's typing thing, so you can kind of see it, and then you get the message. I don't think people are against fast messages, so people like that. I think they're good.
John, I'm curious. So you've leveraged now AI in the marketing side, the copy, the photography, the website stuff, now in customer support. Where else do you see in the customer journey AI being leveraged in a way that fits into the Win model?
Yeah, one of the things that kind of excites me about AI going forward is more the predictive nature of it. So even on the CX side, I can envision a world not too distant from now where it's very proactive, reaching out to customers. It has access to all the data it needs to comb through and understand kind of where problems are arising or could arise, maybe even before the customer knows. So how can, the AI from a customer service standpoint get ahead of that by maybe a proactive email, your order got hung up, it's going to be delayed, here's what happened, or, anything that it's experienced from, the mountain of information that it's analyzing. So, being able to do that not only on the customer side, but for me across the supply chain, where it's just constantly scanning all of our information and it's just bubbling up things, in a kind of succinct, like small data platform that I can use that to action against, versus my team having to constantly kind of run the same metrics and look through them. It's doing that on our behalf.
And for Tidio, where do you see the future of AI playing a role in the software or in, your merchants, I guess just helping out your merchants?
Yeah, the future we live in now is product recommendations. I feel like that's the most impactful thing that it can already do. And we are getting into the space of having goals for AI. So it's not just reactive support, which is being solved right now, but actually being a bit more proactive, understanding that this is an interaction that can lead to a sale. Maybe in some cases we're working with companies that are trying to collect leads, so the AI knows when is the appropriate time to ask for an email address, and you could have these objectives, which I think would make the AI quite powerful, and it would not only like solve your support questions, but actually generate some revenue. So it's about personality, goals, product recommendations. Some of it we have already, some of it we're already working on, and I think that's going to be the impact.
Awesome. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.